Hello, hello. I'm like, where am I? Welcome
Sorry.
to the Dear Work Wives podcast. I'm Adrienne,
I'm Emily.
and we're having a little technical difficulty this morning because we're trying to record on a new platform. So we'll see how this goes, but
Yeah.
tech is not our friend.
No, it's really not. But we try, A for effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are really trying to up our podcast game. So putting some new tools in place
Yeah.
to make the experience better for you, hopefully.
And hopefully
But
for us.
well, and us, yeah.
Because Zoom podcast recording is just not the vibe, but it's so easy. And we use Zoom every single minute of every day and run like clockwork. So we're so comfortable with it. But I know that there are much better ways to do this. So here we are. The best way would be to do it in person.
Yeah, that was the best way. But I have a fall update for you.
Okay.
Well, first of all, my shirt is giving fall vibes.
Very, very fall vibes. Yeah.
And if you notice, I've been drinking a lot more coffee lately.
Yeah.
Pumpkin spice decaf at Target.
Are you really happy? I remember last year you discovered this and you were obsessed, and it's back.
Oh, I forget about it every year then because I thought it was new.
You definitely had it last year. I remember.
Memory of a goldfish over here. I saw it and thought it was my first time. I was like, my God, look
I'm
what
really
they
happy
made.
for
you. I feel like Olaf or something. Like,
right?
He's always like, wow, what is that?
Yeah.
Just
like Dory.
I'm Dory. Yeah, it's totally Dory.
Yeah. I love that.
Hello,
I'm really happy for you.
the first time. Thank you. What updates do you have?
I've also been enjoying my fall beverages because the iced chai with pumpkin cold foam at Starbucks is the best thing ever. And Sandy from our team told me to add a shot of espresso, and it's even better because then it's less sweet and it has a lot more coffee. But so that's been great. I went to Starbucks 2 days in a row because I'm obsessed. Also, the Starbucks is beside my nail place, so had to get the.
Did you go to the nail place twice or just once?
Just once, yeah. On Monday, I needed a Starbucks for my emotional well-being. It was just necessary. And yesterday, I just got my nails done, so then I needed a coffee.
Can we see your nails or no?
I mean, they're just like a dusty rose, like a fall,
like Barbie,
kind of. Yeah, they're really Barbie. Nice fall pink.
Okay.
What other updates do I have? Nothing. Like my kids are back in school, and I got the pink Starburst back in my water. This is a really exciting day for me. We didn't have any for a long time. So maybe now I'll drink this water, but I have to pee already. So that's why I don't drink water.
That's why I don't drink coffee. I feel like coffee makes me have to pee more.
Instantaneously. Yeah.
Yeah.
The caffeine's like a
diuretic, right?
Yeah. Oh, we're going to the fair tonight. I know it's a Wednesday, but we're going to the fair because James won concert tickets to see the Beaches, which is a Canadian girl punk band, and they're really, really good.
Wow, what a niche.
Yeah, they're so good. We love them. And we're going, he won 4 tickets, and they're playing at the fair, which means you also get into the fair for free. So we're taking the kids. I don't know, it's a school night, but we're those parents who are experiences over school a lot.
Yeah, live it up.
They'll still go to school tomorrow. They'll just be tired,
I mean, how late will you stay at the fair?
I mean, the concert starts at 8, so we'll probably be there till 10.
Wow. Okay.
But it's you gotta live sometimes.
Yeah.
And do things like that. So that's my update. Fall fair season is here. And it's truly fall for us, not fake fall that you have to exist in.
Me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fake fall for sure over here. Kit is such a fall girly because all she wants to do is wear pants, and she hates wearing shorts for some reason. And so all summer she's obviously had to wear shorts because it's way too hot. One time Tyler he had her in the bike trailer, and they went to the playground, and some girl literally passed out. She was probably a teenager, but she passed out and fell on the ground. This is not funny, but and so now every time she's like, why did that happen? Asking why. We're like, well, because she was really hot. She got heat exhaustion and passed out. And so now every time in the summer when she wants to wear something that's completely inappropriate, we're like, you might pass out and fall down like that girl. And she's like, oh, no.
Okay, well, that's good.
So I'm like, you can't wear the pants because you're going to pass out.
Yeah.
So that's deterred her up until now. But now she's really like, when is it going to be cold? Is it going to be cold? And
like,
so
never.
A couple days this week, she picked out her own clothes. She wore pants. She didn't pass out at school. So now she's emboldened to wear pants every day.
Like leggings? Does she just wear like leggings?
Leggings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't even think she has a pair of jeans. They seem so uncomfortable.
Right.
Like, I don't want to put my toddler preschooler in jeans if they don't have to. Just wear the leggings, you know?
Yeah.
So she wears leggings and a dress over it because...
So my niece exists in leggings and a tank top dress 24/7, 365.
Yeah, that's what she's wearing.
You know? And then like a sweater in the cold weather. But she's a dress girly with leggings underneath though, you know? So...
Yes. She also told me that she's going to be getting boobies really soon.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's funny. I was
like, maybe never, girl.
I was like, but I never have got any, so I don't know if you're going to get any. I'm still waiting for mine.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for mine, so...
Mommy's still waiting, so not sure if you're actually going to be getting any soon. But I was like, but who told you that? She's like, nobody. I'm like...
Lies.
I don't know if she learned that in school or what.
Your daughter goes to a Christian preschool. You think they taught her about female anatomy?
No, but I think the other kids talk about things that...
Oh, okay.
You know, because one time because they have like a church on their campus, and one time she was like, you can't go in the church, otherwise you'll die. And I was like, what?
Some parent back home says, I can't step in church or I'll burn up, which is what James and I say, so...
I was like, who told you that? And she told me one of her friends' names, who will remain nameless on this podcast. But I was like, okay, that's not actually true. Just because I don't want her to be scared of going into the actual building, because sometimes they like play hide and seek in there and stuff. Like,
isn't Pastor Dan in there or something like that?
Pastor Travis every Wednesday. Yeah, they go in there and they do like their Christmas shows in there. So I'm like, well, you're not actually going to die if you go into the chapel, but that's an interesting story that someone told you.
My
and she keeps telling me every single day, I really want a baby in my belly, mommy. I really want a baby in my belly. And I'm like, oh my God.
30 years. Yeah.
I'm like, I said, you really are going to want to wait. I mean, you're going to be a great mommy someday, but it's like a lot of responsibility. I was like, why is she asking me for that already? I don't understand.
No. My children's friends told them they were going to hell because we don't believe in God. And I'm like, this is not a religious podcast, but like, I believe that everyone has the power to believe whatever they want to believe and it's personal to you. But we don't teach God in our house.
And we also shouldn't be telling children to tell other children that. Like, that's,
literally,
if you believe that, it's like a terrible thing to say to someone.
You're going to hell because you don't believe in God. And I was like, maybe we believe in a different God, like, or Mother Nature. You know what I mean? It was just why my kids were crying and are obsessed with it.
Oh
and
my
I'm
gosh.
But it's okay because like Lila still believes in Santa Claus. So I'm like, we don't believe in that, but we believe in Santa. So to each their own, my friend.
Yeah.
She even said to me like 2 nights ago when we were getting ready for bed, she was somehow Santa Claus came up and she was like, but Santa brings us so much and that would just be way too much money for you and daddy to do all that. So it's actually proof that Santa is real because there's no way you and daddy could do all that. I'm like 100,000,000%. You're right. So
you're right. We don't have that kind of money.
No. To bring like 5, 6 gifts? 4 gifts. Something you want, something you need, something to wear, something to read every year.
I love that one.
That's all we do.
I want to do that. So wait, something you want, something you need, something to wear, something to read.
To read, yes.
Okay.
And that's all we do every year from Santa Claus.
Santa.
Yeah. And this year I got Lila the Hunger Games trilogy.
Oh, don't listen to this podcast, Lila.
Oh yeah, she would never.
Also, you could just tell Lila that like hell doesn't exist, so there's no way you're going there.
Right. It's Fantasyland. Like it exists in the same way that Hogwarts exists in people's imaginations, you know?
Yeah.
So in a book.
Like there's more proof for Santa than there is of that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, so and Friday is mine and James's 11th wedding anniversary.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Like Friday, the week that this airs, or Friday this
like
week?
2 days from now. Yeah. From recording.
And tomorrow, while we're recording.
Yeah.
Big day.
Big day.
5th Run Like Clockwork anniversary for you.
It's a huge day. Like 5 years.
The longest you've ever worked anywhere.
It's the longest I've ever had a job. I'm 35, so I feel like that makes sense, you know, for having 2 kids, moving across the country a few times, you know.
Completely changing industries. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big day. I'm excited.
Congrats.
Thank you. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah. I have like one news story I want to talk about, and then some stories.
Okay, sounds good.
That are storying today. So
let's do this.
You want to dive in?
Yeah. I also sent you a TikTok of another story just we can do on another episode, but TikTok is also starting to serve me some good toxic boss stuff. So
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Just like me.
Yeah.
Toxic boss.
That's you.
Okay. That's why you've been here 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Because I won't let you leave and literally have you handcuffed in the dungeon.
Okay, let's go.
What's that line from Wedding Crashers? Don't ever leave. Because I'll find you. That's me with you. Okay, this is an article I found in Business Insider, and I just want to hear your take on whether or not you think this is good, kosher, not. What do we think? So the headline is, I worked 2 full-time jobs and made $211,000 a year. The main downside of double dipping was that I had no social life, but it wasn't that hard to do both jobs. So in summary, this guy basically held 2 full-time jobs for an entire year so that he could like double his salary. He kind of did it accidentally. He was like applying for jobs, got one, and then immediately got the other. And he was like, sure, why not? I'll just do both of these. He only did them both for a year because, like he said, he was working like way too much, and
80
but he made a ton of money. But like, what do you think about this like double dipping concept? Like, is it okay? If you were an employer, would you be a
I think it's the reality that employers are going to have to face, like with rising costs, that people like
that if they can't pay,
are not going to be. If you can't pay your employees a living wage, then they need to make a living wage. So they're going to have to work more than that. I think it's the reality. I think was he younger? Was he like a Gen Zer or cusper?
No, he looks like there's a picture of him in the article, but like he looks like our age, like mid-30s.
Okay. Firmly a millennial then. I think millennials have kind of I mean, this is like anecdotally, but have kind of given up on so many, like all of the dreams that were fed to us, which is completely unattainable these days. Like owning a home, you know, the goal of like making 6 figures and it would solve all your problems. It won't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with this if he was meeting expectations, if he was available when he needed to be available, and obviously he did it for a full year, so I don't see any issue with this at all. I would never do it personally. I value, but I can totally see. I know you
was upfront. He was upfront with his employers. Totally. And he said, "I'm going to be working 2 jobs, but it's not going to impact my work."
Yeah, like I don't see any issue with that. Do you know how many people work multiple jobs? More often than not, it's multiple part-time jobs. Mm-hmm. But I think it's like I admire his. Like put your head down and like get through, maybe, you know, maybe he's trying to save for a house or get out of debt. Like I know you did that as well earlier on in your career, right? Like you just buckled down and sorted it out. I don't have the discipline. I value my downtime too much to work that hard. But I also have young children. Would I have done this if I was child free? Potentially, because then I don't have as many responsibilities.
You know, full disclosure, when I was doing both, you know, my side business, which is now my business, and my corporate job, I was childless at the time, you know, and so I had a lot more free time to myself. I can't imagine doing it now. And it seems like he's child free. And he was doing it like in 2021 during the pandemic, he said. Right. So
when you could work from home.
Well, what else am I going to do? Yeah.
Yeah. And also like there's so many studies about how like you can get like it's like we teach like if you can get your work done in 6 hours but you're meeting expectations, then what does it matter? So like 2 6-hour work days to get all your work done is totally manageable. But
yeah. He said he did a lot of like automation of some of the role because in the beginning, so it was like heavier up front that he had to like set up a lot of the automation that he was doing. But then
it's like we talked about like AI helping you along. Like why not? If the expectations are being met or exceed like minimum met, but even like then there's zero issue with this. I see. What do you see issue with it?
No, I think it's cool. I mean, not cool that he has to work, 16 hours a day to make the money he wants to make. But honestly, that's a lot of money, $211,000 a year. Like sounds like he was making decent money at both jobs. If that's going to help you move towards your goals, it sounds like something that was a short-term stint for him, not something he wants to continue long-term. But I think it's a cool concept for someone to reach some of those short-term financial goals that they have. And see what they're capable of. And I don't see anything wrong from the employer side.
No.
At all.
I'm sure there's some employers.
And he said he was logging 8 hours a day for each job, whatever. He was doing his work. So I'm sure there's people that aren't working 2 jobs who are doing a worse job than him. So
exactly. And there are definitely going to be people who have a problem with this, and they are going to need to just understand that this is going to be the reality. Yeah. If costs do not decrease or like people do not make enough money to live in a lot of places. So they're going to need to work multiple jobs.
Yep.
Yeah. If you refuse to pay your employees more.
Interesting story. So
it's not even for a lot of people that they refuse to pay them more. Like they just don't have that money to pay them more, So yeah. Alrighty.
You want to do some stories?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Bring the drama.
One of them is from someone that I know, but we'll keep them nameless. But they did share the company name publicly, so I'm just going to share the company name publicly.
Okay.
So they said, Disney requires us to be in the office 4 days a week now, even though our building is being heavily renovated. My role entails reading and processing incredibly complex contracts and laws. Hours of incessant drilling, jackhammering, pounding means someone, aka me, is going to mess up a few multi-million-dollar deals. But for some reason, they keep insisting that we come into the office. And so then she's having to go home and get her actual contract work done because she can't concentrate in the office. But she has to be there.
Disney.
Wild.
Get it together. It's probably because they're reading all those contracts fighting Ron DeSantis. But
I wish.
Yeah.
Her contracts are more with the TV and media side of the business.
Yeah.
But
it just makes no sense.
I guess making the stakeholders, the shareholders happy. They think being back in the office means productivity. So let's make people productive. But they don't understand the nuance here of sure, sometimes that makes sense. But when you're in a building that's literally construction right outside your window, we have to be able to make exceptions for that. We can't expect people to get work done.
This is when such linear thinking is so...
Or the blanket, everyone has to come
in
back.
This multi-billion, trillion-dollar company with dozens and dozens of offices and hundreds of thousands of employees. It
doesn't work.
It doesn't work that way. You have to adapt to the realities of each individual department, office, whatever, building, whatever it is, right? And even Disney could say this is during construction. Maybe it's just for another year or something like that. It sounds like some major things are going on, but there's absolutely no way that you can expect even less taxing roles to be able to work under those scenarios, every job is hard, don't get me wrong, but if any job is going to struggle in that sort of environment, it's torture.
Imagine your mental health if you're just someone's jackhammering outside your window all day and you're trying to get work done. I would lose my mind. Or even on meetings, oh, excuse me, I can't hear you.
It's I hear one airplane go over bizarre. And I'm squirrel, there's no way. There's no way. I live really close to the airport, so I get squirreled a lot.
I know. And it's always I remember when I was recording a lot more and it was every time the lawn people would come, it was like recording day. And I'm like, oh God, like you can't concentrate, can't hear yourself think. Yeah. So yeah, I can't imagine having to listen to jackhammering all day for day in and day out, 4 days a week, just to then go home and have to finish up your work because you're still having to meet expectations in your organization and wanting to do a good job.
If I was this person, I would propose a test period
for
2 weeks. Can you allow us to work at home and show you that, during this construction, we are actually more productive at home because we're not constantly, being attacked by jackhammers. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Come on, Disney. Earplugs, I guess.
But like earplugs are so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable.
Oh, I can't do them. Even headphones.
I wore them I wore earplugs for like 3 or 4 months when Coco was sleeping in my room. Same with Kit when she was really young, because babies make the loudest noises when they're sleeping.
So much noise.
But they're constantly still sleeping.
Rustling around and cooing.
Grunting, like dinosaur grunts. Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, shut up. But she wasn't like crying, but it was enough to make me be like, what's wrong? And so then I started had the sound machine, and then I would wear earplugs.
Right.
And then if she was really crying, I could hear her, but oh my gosh. And then like in the morning when you take them out, it feels so good because they do really hurt.
Yeah, it's just not comfortable. And so it's not a solution,
Nah.
So.
All right, next story. I'm uncomfortable with travel expectations. Coworkers sharing beds during a work trip.
Beds?
My friend who works at a nonprofit organization recently discovered that for an upcoming conference, her department of 8 employees is expected to share hotel rooms with 4 coworkers, meaning they would have to share beds. When she expressed her discomfort with this arrangement, she was told that the tight budget meant that she would have to pay for alternative lodging out of pocket if she wanted her own room. As someone who has never encountered such a request before, she is seeking HR policies or best practices on how to handle this situation. Any insights or advice would be appreciated.
Okay, so obviously I don't know the legalities. I don't know, but that seems disgusting. Like to make people do that, like when you and I traveled to Denver, like we shared a room. And that was fine. Like I was happy to share a room, but it's taken us.
Ask you.
Totally.
I said you could have your own room.
No, you did, because I was like, oh, should I book? And you're like, yeah, or we can share. And I've been waiting years for you to offer to share a room with me, so I was like, yes, let's do it. Slumber party.
But I would never ask you to share a bed.
No, I mean when I go on girls weekends with like I have and I would share a bed. If you're just staying overnight and like I would, but those are like my best friends,
Right.
I would.
It's not comfortable or convenient. Like no one really wants to share the bed. I mean, unless you're Paige DeSorbo. No.
Or, you're just trying to save money. It's like, the 4 of us can go. It's one night. We can it's fine. You know what I mean? Like
when I go to a hotel with my husband, I get 2 queen beds.
James and I get 1 king bed because we have a queen bed at home. So a king bed feels like 2 beds to us.
I get that. But I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You go in that bed. I'll go in this bed.
Yeah.
We can have relations in one of the beds, but
yours.
We're sleeping in separate beds. Yeah.
Yours. Yeah.
We're sleeping separately.
Yeah. I absolutely, if it was forced. Okay. So this reminds me of the one that we disagreed on in Denver of how you were if you were like, okay, guys, this is the deal, and Gabby and I had to share a bed, or you and I had to share a bed so that everyone on the team could afford to come, I would do it. But I also am very close friends with a lot of these people, and it's totally fine. But I do not think that it's acceptable to force people to do it or to even ask people to do it. It's so wrong on so many levels. If you cannot afford for your whole team to travel, then don't invite the whole team.
That's it. If you can't afford for people to have separate beds, then we need to decrease how many people are going.
If you can afford 2 rooms,
hotel.
Yeah. If you can afford 2 rooms, then you're inviting like 2 people realistically. Yeah. And then like if you have a Gabby or an Adrian and Emily who are willing to share a room, cool. But if you
comfortable with that, yeah.
But you have to like, there's more travel costs than just sharing the room. It's actually, the room is the cheapest part. Like the per diems for food, travel, like mileage or flights, like all of this adds up. So like if you're trying to scrimp the $100 or $200 on the room, like you just can't afford that many people, and that's fine, especially for a nonprofit. Like maybe you don't want to be spending all that budget, but I just don't think it's appropriate, and I would absolutely not do it if I was this person.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really inappropriate to ask. It's also like safety issue to like have people that aren't really that comfortable sharing beds and rooms. Know.
Like what if someone's a night sweater, or
what if they snore really loud and then the other person can't sleep, or what if they have really bad gas at night and they're embarrassed.
Right. Or just like move around a lot, or a restless leg.
What if they're insomniacs? Yeah. Like, there's just like a lot of personal details that maybe people don't need to and don't want to share.
No, it's crossing too many boundaries. The hardest part to me about sharing a room is the bathroom, you know? Like as adults, like it's still hard. So, and with 2 people, it's manageable. You know, like the people we met at the conference a few weeks ago, they were joking about if they were sharing rooms, like, I'm just going to go up to the room and like take this call or take a little 20-minute nap. You know what I mean? Like code word, like you stay here, you know?
Yeah.
So like 4 people in a room with 1 bathroom. No.
Oh, no, that's awkward.
No, it's not. I mean, everyone poops, but like,
we need to get them that book. Everybody poops.
I don't need to know like how often.
About my coworkers.
It's stuff, you know, like I can know something without needing to know it.
And also like even, you know, there was 2 of us in our room. I can't even like, now that I'm like thinking about this, 4 people in a room, like that's a lot of people. And
stuff.
Like even like changing or stuff everywhere. Like I even got to the point where I was like, I'm just changing over here because I don't want to walk into the bathroom, but like don't turn around if you don't want to see, whatever, you know? But 4 people in a room doing that is, that's just chaotic.
And we've done like photo shoots and things together where like I've changed in front of you, and but we have that. Like that's
rapport.
Not the norm, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, no, it's completely inappropriate. You can't afford to have that, to bring your whole team. So don't bring your leadership. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying that you have to force people to pay their own, but if someone really wants to come and you're like, we don't have the budget for it, but and if they want to spend their own money to come, like that's on them. I don't think that we're not asking people to spend their own money by any stretch. But I think part of, part of it is if you have to know your numbers, you have to know your budget. You cannot make like accommodations like that are just so wildly inappropriate. It's hard. It's hard to be like, sorry, we can only bring 2 people. But if that's the reality, then that's the reality.
Yep. All right. Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
I think we're going to maybe disagree on this, but we'll see.
Here we go. I hope so. No, I don't, but I do.
Today, I was asked to stop using my native language at work. To provide some context, I work in a research lab within a hospital. This morning, I received an email that included 5 coworkers, 2 of the same nationality and 3 of different nationalities, inviting us to a meeting without further details. When the meeting arrived, our lab manager was present alongside an individual who we later learned was from HR. The manager immediately addressed the main topic. A month earlier, I had received an email addressed to the same 5 individuals, cautioning us that certain lab members felt excluded due to the use of foreign languages. While I found it slightly unsettling at the time, I didn't give it much thought. The manager referenced that email and informed us that we should refrain from using our native languages in professional settings to avoid excluding others. I understand the need for inclusivity, but I occasionally struggle with English, especially when trying to explain concepts to someone from my own nationality. I inquired if our conversation is casual, such as discussing the weather, must it still be in English? And the response was affirmative. If I were in a managerial position and an issue was raised about foreign language usage, perhaps because of gossip, my inclination would be to advise the complainant to focus on their own tasks. However, that wasn't the approach taken in our lab. What are your thoughts?
Oh, this one is nuanced for sure. I mean, I live in a bilingual country where people speak French and English, but we're taught both in school. So it reminds me of like when I go get my nails done and they're speaking Vietnamese and I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about me?
Like, are you talking about me?
Are you making fun of me? Or
and they're like laughing and then you're like, they're definitely talking about me.
Yeah. Or like I've been on a flight before actually where like the couple sitting beside me were speaking French and they were talking about me. I was like, that's so dangerous because this is Canada. Like a lot of us speak French.
Yeah.
Like bold. It's really bold of you, but I understand what you're saying. I speak more French than the average Canadian. About you? Yeah.
What were they saying?
Oh, they were just complaining about me. Like, like just, they were.
That's ballsy.
I speak more French than the average Canadian because I went to French immersion school, but still, it's
and your
weird.
Kids now too.
My kids now do too as well. My kids will be bilingual by the time they finish high school, so it's just wild to me. Like, so it's nuanced. I think I can absolutely see both sides. Like, if English is not your first language, and there's other people who speak, it can. If you're just trying to have a quick conversation, or you've got to explain something, and I get it, but I do also see the other side of like, well, what are they talking about? Like, I would feel left out of the conversation. Maybe I have something. Maybe I want to talk about the weather too.
Right.
But to outright ban the use of it seems illegal. But I don't
know. Yeah, it seems weird to like be like, you can't speak in this language here.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I do agree with like it would make people feel left out or alienated if two people are talking in their native language and then I'm over here just doing my work and not understanding what's going on.
Right.
I disagree with the idea that they should just tell the other people to just focus on your own work instead of like that. Yeah, like, we're humans and these people are talking around me and they're talking in
you're talking about
language,
the weather. So how about you focus on your tasks then?
Yeah, exactly. You're the one clearly not focusing on your work.
Yeah.
I think that it's not my first language, so there's, words or whatever that I don't know how to say. I mean, you could get around that, right? Like, okay, but ask, the other person. You could ask them in your native language, like, how can I say this in English or whatever?
Yeah.
So that they can include the other people. And I think that's a little bit of a cop-out, like that they just want to keep talking in their language. So they're saying it's because I don't know how to translate that specifically. It's like, well, find another word, like, or ask the people of your nationality, like what is a way to say this or what's similar to this in English or in whatever. Because I could totally see people feeling excluded and isolated. But I also see the side of like, how can we just ban someone from speaking their language in our workplace? Like, that's kind of weird. Like,
it doesn't seem,
Like, if I was in that work setting and two people were speaking Spanish, like I would, or, Spanish is the most common one down here, but like I would want to kind of learn. So I might be like, speak in Spanish around me, but then tell me what you're saying so that I can then learn more and like, pick up on your language. So maybe there's already like something going on between this group that they feel like it's gossip.
I feel like there's
or
maybe bigger dynamics at play. Yeah. Because James, my husband's parents, they sponsored a family from Ukraine, and they came over and they were cousins, and James's mom speaks Ukrainian, so and Baba spoke Ukrainian before she passed away and like, so they would speak Ukrainian and then they would translate it to us, and so we could all like, and then they were teaching my kids how to say like common phrases, and it was really lovely to be around.
So there was a way to like make it inclusive,
right? And so maybe you do get wrapped up in a conversation, but then you have to then be like, oh, we were just talking about XYZ, or and I don't know. I it's a very nuanced thing because you can't ban someone from speaking their language. Like, that's just seems very discriminatory. Especially if it's not their first language. Like maybe they are really try, but also you can't just, if you work in an English workplace and you have some English or a lot of English, it sounds like, it feels very like the things that you choose not to say in English feels very deliberate.
Right.
Or I would be perceived as like, I know that you can communicate very well, so why are you choosing not to say these things?
Because you don't want me to hear it, right? So it's
that would be where I would jump, So
yeah.
I can see why they're like, I don't feel good. I could
also see it also being very comforting to speak your native language with someone at work too. Exactly. So it's like, how can you tell me that I'm not allowed to do this? What if they had no English? Right?
Right. Exactly. Like when I go get my nails done, like it's a mom and her daughter, or a daughter our age and her mom. Her mom speaks very little English, so she's always talking to her mom in Vietnamese and like translating for her clients and that sort of thing. And her mom she tries, but she does not speak English. And so they speak to each other in Vietnamese, but they're like, she's telling her, oh, she wants square tips, she wants this, she wants that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's really nuanced. I think it's really dangerous to go down that road of excluding it. And, but I do think that it would be, I would feel some sort of way if people would choose to not say certain things in front of me in English. I'd be like, what are you saying?
Mm-hmm.
So did we agree?
Just go say it behind my back then.
Yeah. Just like text it to each
other. Because I'm thinking about, okay, but there's not like some requirement that we're all friends at workplaces, right? So like, I don't have to have conversations with everyone in the workplace. And that's kind of what they're insinuating, is like, you need to involve everyone in your conversation about the weather or whatever. It's like, well, not really, right? Yeah. Like if I just want to have a conversation about the weather with Emily, I can do that.
Yeah. Or about like the fight my husband and I had last night, or...
Right. And so they're using their native language as a way to do it in front of other people instead of, at lunchtime or in our privacy, then we're going to talk about this. It's just kind of like a way that they can do it when they're also around other people. So I don't know. I'm like, I flipped my own script. I'm like, I think it's okay that they're allowed to speak.
Yeah.
Because, like, you don't have to be friends with everyone. Like, don't talk about them in front of them.
Yeah.
But and, like, you should be able to talk about whatever you
want. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's nuanced,
I feel like this
is
the first one that I don't really have any advice for you. But
no, I don't either, to be honest. It feels like a rock in a hard place. But it cannot be banned, because that's just straight up discrimination. So... in my opinion.
Yeah, so that's our advice for you, is like, I don't think they can ban you from speaking this language, but just maybe be mindful about including people. But if you also don't want to include them, that's probably fine too.
But just be mindful that you could be hurting people's feelings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because whatever you're talking about, just assume that they think you're talking about them.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't understand any foreign language, like, I understand like very little Spanish. If someone else is around me talking in a foreign language to someone else and I'm the third person, I'm just going to assume they're talking about me.
Yeah. Agreed.
Even if they're not.
Yeah.
That's just because I'm a narcissist.
Yeah. It's because why wouldn't they be talking about
me?
They
must be talking about me.
Yeah.
So if you're going to continue to do it, just know that person thinks you're talking about them.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
so maybe just preface it with like, I'm not talking about you, but I don't know how to say the words in English, so I'm just...
Yeah.
How about everybody focus on their own tasks?
Yeah. How about everyone shut their mouth? No talking.
Yeah, maybe we should just institute a no talking rule.
Yeah.
In the lab.
Silence.
Talking is for lunch.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote today.
That's all she wrote.
Because I gotta go.
All right. Well, you gotta go, and we'll see everyone. We'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.